Hi guys, it's great to be back again. We've got our beers in the studio, nice little warm weather.
Only 2.5%.
Yeah, only
2.5% because it's Friday evening, Friday wind down.
Yeah, well today we thought we'd be discussing timings and why they are vital for your day to run as smoothly as it can. Obviously, you know, without the timings, things can go into a bit of chaos, as we will be explaining a bit later. Normally, we will discuss the timings with you on a pre-wedding shoot. For anyone that hasn't been married, pre-wedding shoot we'll normally go discuss the timings with you before we go on to the shoot. So that's all the way from meeting the groom, the bride prep, the ceremony, obviously, like factoring all that in, just to get your bride and groom shots, and so you can get back in time for your meal as well. So obviously,
Do you want me to go through how it works?
Yeah, if you
explain that. On the pre-wedding shoot, guys, the first thing we do, obviously, sit down, have a coffee, and we chat through all the details of the day. So this is a booking form of our next couple, Michelina and Jamie. So we discuss all the phone numbers, email addresses, how many bridesmaids, names of everyone. And then we go through the timings. Now, most of our couples that have been sort of married and, you know, we photograph their wedding, they understand why we go through timings in such depth and why we write them down. But for the couples that haven't had their wedding with us, or are thinking of booking, or booking any photographer, it's something that is so vital to make sure that day flows naturally. So we can work from the ceremony and work backwards. So you can, obviously, we know from what time it's going to take to travel from where the groom's getting ready to where the bride's getting ready. We can factor that in. Then obviously travelling from where the bride's getting ready, say it's a church, the drive to the church. So we start with the ceremony time and work all the way backwards. Then we go from the ceremony and obviously work forwards. Now, we work very closely with all our venues. So once we've written all these timings out, we will email these to the couple after the pre-wedding shoot. But we'll also email them to the venue. And we'll also email them to the makeup artist and whoever's doing the hair. Because obviously, for a venue point of view, they need to know when the bride and groom is going to arrive back from the church. They need to know that photography is going to be finished in time for the wedding breakfast to make sure that is not delayed, because otherwise the chef is just going to hate you as a photographer if you delay the wedding breakfast. And hair and makeup is probably another one that we really try and work closely with the hair and makeup artists to make sure that they understand why we're asking for a bride to get into somebody's just said hello, who's that? Andy Moore. Andy, mate? You need to come over soon. It's been a while since you come over for your bacon sandwich, so it's about time you came back. So the hair and makeup is absolutely vital, that they are finished as close as we can to the time we've said the bride needs to get in the dress at this time. With a lot of venues we work at, like the Old Hall, we know, because we work there so often, and other venues like Bassmead and Longstone, Barrington, we know when the bride and groom is going to have to be ready for the wedding breakfast. At the Old Hall, they like to show the bride and groom the marquee 10 minutes before the guests go in, which is really nice. So we know exactly what time we're working to with those venues. But it still doesn't hurt for us to send the timings to them. And then obviously if there's a discrepancy, the venue can then get back to us and say, no, we'd like to do that then, and we then liaise with the couple. So it's like the couple, the venue and ourselves, we work so close together that all of our weddings, hopefully, touch artificial wood, because I don't think that's real, touch wood, all of our weddings flow really naturally, really smoothly. But, you know, things do go wrong now and again.
Yeah, well, we've had a couple of cases where we've had to go back up to the bridal suite because we didn't get all the shots early in the day. If you happen to have, like, say, a church one, sometimes these things can't be replicated because obviously you might not have, it could be getting ready at home and you might not be able to go back to home. And I think that's the thing that some hair and makeup people don't realise, which is why, like, it is good to email. I always find, like, to liaise with times, because then at least then you know your day's going to run smoothly, you've got nothing to worry about. They've had all their hair and makeup done in time, they've got all the pictures they want, and everyone's happy. And
I mean, what Lewis has said there is just, it's probably one of the biggest problems that we face as photographers. You can cope with, you know, the ceremony running late or being held up in traffic driving from a church to a venue, because if your bride and groom are going to have a drinks reception, they're going to have group photographs, and if we don't have enough time to get bride or groom shots around the grounds of the venue, we can say to them, like, you know, pop out for 5 minutes during the wedding breakfast, or we can do it after the wedding breakfast, you know, or early evening. So those shots are fine, but it's the times before the ceremony, and it can be hair and makeup, that we really try and make them understand that on the day, you know, you might have had a hair and makeup trial that's taken 2 hours. Well, on the day, it'll probably take more like 2.5, maybe 3, because there's so many interruptions. All the girls are chatting, mums are coming in and out of the bridal suite, the bride's worrying about things, so she's getting up, so that they don't run as smoothly as they should. Now, working with one, Kerry from Cambridgeshire Makeup Artist, she does exactly the same as us. She sends out timings and she works out a timing sheet. So a photographer can liaise with her and make sure that everything's fine, but Kerry understands what a photographer needs, the time that a photographer needs. So to give you a little bit of an idea, we ask for an hour with a bridal party. It may seem a lot. So if you were getting married at a venue at 2 o'clock, we know that at around 1:30 we should have finished, so that the registrars, if they arrive a little bit earlier, will take the bride off our hands.
We asked for an hour, but how much
We
time
asked
do
for
we
an
actually
hour.
need?
So we would say to a bride, you know, you need to see the registrars at 1:30, so jump into your dress at 12:30.
Yeah.
If you ask for an hour with a group of girls, how long do you get?
30 minutes.
If you're lucky.
Give or take.
But if we ask for 30 minutes, we're going to get 20, 15
Yeah.
minutes, and that's not enough, because we've got to get shots of the bride getting into the dress,
Bad
putting on the
coming
jewellery,
in, all bridesmaids.
details, shots with the bridesmaids, shots with mum on her own, then the grand entrance of dad coming in, shots with mum and dad, shots with dad, individual shots with the bridesmaids, group shots with the bridesmaids, portraits of the brides, as well as all the natural shots.
Sorry guys, I'm going to shut the door because I don't know if
It's
this rain is...
absolutely
Yeah, it's just
shocking
started
it down.
shocking it down. I don't know if the
And
rain's...
all our washing is out.
Oh no.
Well, we have been saying we need some rain. This must be a good month since it's rained. And Kim just came home and said, I'm going to have to get the horse in because it's going to rain. I'm thinking,
Nah.
we're not due any rain, but all our washing, and oh, there's Kim, she's running around outside.
Go on, Kim.
She's picking up all the garden furniture, pads and chairs, and the umbrellas for the garden furniture that's getting soaked.
Anyway.
Poor girl. Anyway,
Back on
yeah.
time.
So we asked for an hour, but we're lucky if we get 30 minutes, and you know, we work very quickly. We work very efficiently, and we do get all the shots we need in the time we're given. Now, if you were getting married at a venue like the Old Hall and you're using the bridal suite, and time does run away with us, you know, it's not a big problem, because we know later on in the day we can bring the bride and the bridesmaids back up just for 5-10 minutes max.
Saying that though, if you are getting married at the Old Hall and you've heard that, like, you are going to lose time out of your drink. So don't think, oh, like, we can still do it later, so it's fine. Like, you will miss time with your guests. So it is best to go away so you can enjoy the rest of the day without having to worry to go back up.
But we can take you back
It
up
can be done, yeah.
and recreate the few shots, not the natural shots, because obviously they've been taken as the day was going on, but really the more sort of pose shots that you'll want with your bridesmaids on your own, we can set those up again. But if you're getting married at a church,
Oh,
there's no way of going back.
Done.
There's no way of going back. You know, if you're at the bridal suite or you're getting ready at home, we can't just take you back home in the middle of the afternoon because we didn't get all your shots. So that is why at that part of the day,
Vital.
it is vital that we work very closely with the hair and makeup artists in the venue to make sure that we get all the shots we want. Now saying all that, I don't think there's ever been a stage where, even on the weddings where we've had 10-15 minutes before the bride's have to leave for the church, and she's put the dress on 15 minutes before the car leaves, we've
always managed
got
to
some
get it.
amazing,
Always
fantastic
managed to get it.
shots, and it's hailstone now. It's
There you
dry
go,
for a
so
month, and now we're getting hailstone.
There you go.
So yeah, that's one thing that we work very closely with a couple and a venue on, and it does become a bit of an issue when we try and get through the year, and you get some tough weddings, and by the time you get to the ceremony, you're exhausted because you're working so fast.
Although saying that, you can get some good pictures under pressure, although it's not ideal.
We've said that a lot this year.
It has proven.
We've had 10-15 minutes with a bride, and we've got some of the best shots.
It's just nice though when you do have the time, because then you've got all that more scope to just take your time, think about what you want to do, get like loads of lovely ideas, and get more. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't just have to stop. But
yeah. The other thing is, unless we educate certain suppliers of why we ask for that much time, because a lot of suppliers, I've heard them say, the photographer doesn't need, they've asked for that long, but they don't need that long. They only need 20 minutes, they only need 25 minutes. But if you've got 6 or 7 bridesmaids and and parents are up there, and you've got a stunning dress that you really want loads of photographs of, we just want to ensure we've got the time to get them all, and you're not disappointed at the end of the day when you think, oh, I really wish I'd have got a shot of that, I really wish I'd have got a shot of that. And you look back and think, if only I'd have, stressed to the suppliers I work with how the timings, I really want to get in my dress at that time, purely for that reason.
Yeah. So,
timings are absolutely vital. But sometimes things don't go to plan.
It happens.
It happens. Sometimes they don't go to plan. But with booking us, you're going to get great pictures, whether we've got the time or not. But it's not easy when you are rushing. I'm getting so hot.
I was just thinking, we closed the door, it's like a sauna now.
And now in the studio, it is like a sauna.
He's getting aircon unit, isn't nothing.
Oh my god, and furniture, all the pads that Kim hasn't got in, it is getting soaked. And she's no, the wash is still out on the area. So have you got anything else to say, Lewis?
No, I think we've covered most of it really. Just like timings, they're important. Simple as really.
They are really important.
Like anyone looking to get married, it is one of the things you should address with any photographer. Like, is the timings.
I suppose when you come to do your own wedding and look through what time you're getting married and what time you're sitting down for your wedding breakfast, we would always suggest 3 hours for a church ceremony to wedding breakfast. So if you're getting married at the church at 1, your wedding breakfast, ideally for us, would be at 4, and 2 hours if you're getting a ceremony at the venue and you're getting married at 1. You could, in theory, sit down at your wedding breakfast at 3. I mean, most couples don't, it's too early. But if you work on 3 hours and 2 hours, and then through the day, your ceremony in the church is 45 minutes, church ceremony at the venue is going to be 20-25 minutes, and then we break everything down into 30-minute blocks. So group photographs 30 minutes, drinks reception 30 minutes, bride and groom shots 30 minutes. So you could pretty much write down, we're getting married at 1, that's the time, we're not rushing it, we're going to have the wedding breakfast at that time, and we're going to have a relaxed, smooth day, rather than you running around like headless chickens from...
That's it, like if you stick to the timings well enough, your day will run so smoothly. And I just think it's the best way to structure it, really.
A lot of couples don't give themselves enough time, so they'll get to the wedding breakfast and go, oh my god, that day just went so quick. And it's been an hour and a half since ceremony to sit down, and you will be feeling the effects of running around like headless chickens.
Like if you're going up into the bridal suite, you're not seeing your guests, and you're back down, and all of a sudden you're being called in to eat. It's like even that slight little bit missing in the morning can affect like the rest of the day.
Which is why we discuss it in depth at the pre-wedding shoot. It is the first thing we do is go through timings, and like evening timings as well. It's the wedding breakfast, is usually 2 hours long. Cutting the cake's usually 10 to 8. First dance roughly around 8 o'clock. The evening photo shoot, obviously different times of the year when the sun sets. So it's knowing when all this is gonna happen.
It seems it's a lot more chilled out towards the evening because things can be moved around, but it's mainly, I'd say, the bridal prep that can affect the rest
of
the
day.
It sets the day.
Bridal preps.
That is the main thing, which is why, like we say, we email with the venues, send timers to the venues, and the hair and makeup, because obviously they're the 2 most important things that need to be involved with, the timings in general, I think, to keep the day running smoothly, basically.
So we have a timing sheet each, Lewis and myself, in our pockets at a wedding. We don't have it in front of us. We don't.
It's just there.
We just know that's the time the bride has to get in the dress. That's the time the ceremony is, and that's the time that they're going into the marquee. So we're keeping the chef happy. We're keeping the venue happy. What's happened just up there?
It's just little things, as you can see. I don't know if it's going to be the wrong.
So that's Michelina and Jamie's timings.
all the timings and everything that's going on.
And their day's going to be amazing. Amazing. Cause,
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be a well cool wedding
Yeah,
at
boy.
Burnham Hall.
That's
So that's
good.
about it. I think our Friday night should start now because it's been a long
Get the beers in.
week. Get the beers in.
Yeah, get the beers in.
Only 2% though, only 2%. A little French beers from Aldi's, but they're really nice.
There you go.
It's been a long week in the studio, a hot week in the studio,
Yeah.
lots of editing.
It's not stopping anytime soon either.
No, it's getting. I look like a strawberry. I mean, look at me, I look so
I think
red.
it's because you're more in. Look, if I come back.
I don't know whether it's a reflection off my shiny shoes. I should have put my shorts on like Lewis today, but I thought I'd
I
dress
thought it
up
was
a
a bit madder and jeans, but.
Right then,
That's it then. Anyway, guys, enjoy your weekend, and we'll be back again next week. I'm assuming.
Yeah, we'll be back. We'll see you soon. Have
All
a
right.
great weekend, guys.
See you later, guys.
Cheers.